Representative Raymond?
Yes, I'll be brief. Chairman, it's a long bill, and so I'm sorry I don't know the answer.
That's okay.
I'm going to ask you something I just can't find. One of the things that I cannot stand, it just sticks in my craw, is, you know, when a guy rapes a woman decides to keep the baby, they catch the guy, right? And then he starts negotiating on what's going on, what's going to happen to him by saying, hey, you know, that's my baby. The woman decides to keep it, right, who was raped, decides to keep it, and he said, I want visitation. That's my baby too, right? And so several states, and I don't know if we finally passed it here or not, but several states passed laws that says you don't have any rights, buddy, when it comes to that baby if she decides to keep it, right, if you've been convicted. So in your bill, if a guy rapes a woman, she decides to keep, well, no, the guy rapes a woman, they catch him, and she decides to terminate the pregnancy. Does that rapist have a cause of action? If you don't know, that's fine, but look at that, because that's a really, I think we got, I mean, I don't know how you'd feel about that, but I can tell you how I feel about it.
I do feel strongly about it. Under the current text of the bill, the father would have it, not against the woman. The father would have a cause of action against
anybody, man.
I
If it's a
get
rapist.
it. I get it. And it's interesting you mentioned that because so I filed legislation last session, again this session, that would have required, in that situation, that father, if the woman elected to do so, the duty to pay child support going back all the way until the time of conception. So all those costs that a woman incurs if, in fact, she decides to keep the baby and wants to pursue. I filed that bill thinking, well, okay, every woman's going to, if she's got all these costs, she should be able to go after the father. And in many cases, a woman wants to do so, but in some cases, the woman wants nothing to do with the guy.
Yeah, I understand.
And so what we want to do is to empower that woman and to give her the tools to go after her wrongdoer in that horrific situation.
So in this case, I don't want you to give the wrongdoer the ability to go after the woman he raped or anybody who helped her terminate that pregnancy. Anyway, if you don't know the answer, think about it, because that would be bad.
I understand. I hear you. What I'm more concerned about is in that situation where a man, you know, horrifically rapes and impregnates a woman and coerces her and forces her to have an abortion. What we're seeing is, in many cases, in those situations, the man is actually going online and purchasing the drugs. This is especially true in human trafficking situations, purchasing the drugs himself and forcing the woman to take them. And so those situations we certainly need to come down hard on.
Well, I would say just as hard on if it was the opposite, right?
Yeah.
If, you know, he rapes her, she wants to have an abortion, you know, he didn't get to sue anybody.
Well, I would hope that our partners in law enforcement in those situations would we need to heighten our criminal penalties on
Well, all I'm saying,
rapists.
Chairman, is that I hope that we can make sure that if you're in agreement, because it's your bill, that whatever we got to put in the bill to say, you cannot do that, buddy. Sorry.
Okay.
You ain't gonna sue anybody.
Okay.
Just give it some thought.
Let's talk about it.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.